Welcome back to DBL. Jenna Karvunidis is credited with inventing gender reveal parties, but hers was far from what they've become today. I spoke with her earlier in today's DBL Spotlight.
For expecting parents, finding out their baby's gender can be a precious family moment. But since the creation of Pinterest-worthy gender reveal parties over a decade ago, they've evolved into over-the-top productions that blur the line between clickbait and downright foolishness.
A gunshot at a gender reveal party sparked the $8 million fire.
Start packing up!
But before gender reveal parties became an exercise in internet one-upmanship, they were just one mom's simple idea to celebrate a pregnancy she struggled to achieve.
You know, I'd had several miscarriages, so this was more of a celebration for myself.
Today, Jenna Karvunidis, who invented gender reveal parties by baking a simple pink cake, no longer condones them and has a warning about the detriment that these parties can ultimately cause their unborn child.
Jenna Karvunidis, welcome to DBL. So you had the world's first viral gender reveal party when you were pregnant with your first daughter. That was back in 2008. So what inspired the party, and what was it like back then when nobody was really doing these gender reveal parties?
And back then, social media was just different anyway. A blog was more seen as your own personal diary that you're putting out there. I certainly wasn't making content for the audience. So I didn't even think about how my party was coming across to anyone. Not to be a downer, but you know, I'd had several miscarriages. So this was more of a celebration for myself as a milestone that we finally got to the point in the pregnancy where we could find out if it was a boy or a girl. And we had the party. It was very small and it went on my blog. And then after that, it went viral and sort of propagated from there.
So since then, you've had 2 more daughters, and let's talk about how gender reveal parties have become over-the-top productions that rake in thousands of views, likes, and shares.
2, 1.
What do you now think of gender reveal parties that go viral today, especially because you're the one that kind of started it all?
I think what's not really on the table as a talking point is actually the social harm that these parties cause. I mean, we were not talking about gender identities or transgender or non-binary. We were not having these conversations in 2008, and we are in 2020, and we need to keep having them. This really aggressive gender binary, it's erasure of trans and non-binary people.
What do you hope will happen with people today when it comes to gender reveal parties? And do you hope that they'll just go away altogether? We
just need to have a more awareness level when it comes to why we're doing these parties. And maybe people just need to know there's no reason to have a party. You don't need the excuse. You don't need the hook of what kind of genitals do my child have in order to throw a party to celebrate yourself, your milestones. Pop that bottle of champagne in the middle of the week for no reason. I mean, obviously not if you're pregnant, but you know, bake a cake, do the thing. There's no shame in having a party.
Okay, so here's the thing though, your daughters are still very young. As they grow up, what do you want them to know about gender identity as they discover theirs? And to any of our viewers watching right now that know very little about gender identity, or they don't even think that that's a thing, what would you say to them?
Little boys wanting to play with a doll, it doesn't mean that they're gay. It doesn't mean they're going to grow up to be gay, or if they are, who cares? The main thing is, you know, what your anatomy that you have isn't what defines you and your abilities to be successful in the world. It doesn't define your interest and how you're going to be able to contribute positively to society. You're putting this really strong emphasis on this one body part. You've really precluded everything else about that person that's really going to make a bigger difference.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's about acceptance, right? And when it comes to our kids, the more we can accept them and love them. So I really hope that our interview opens up the minds of parents that maybe just don't understand it, and they take the time to try and understand it, or at least just be there for their children who are having gender identity issues, right? So before we go, what do you have to say to expecting parents today who are planning their own gender reveal parties? Would you try to talk them out of it?
I don't want to shame anybody for having a good time, but let's just pivot away to a different type of celebration and really focus on what you're actually celebrating, which is a new member of your family. There's nothing more exciting than that. And you just don't have to connect it to your baby's body parts at all, because you're going to love that baby no matter what.
Oh, amen, let me tell you. Okay, so Jenna, thank you from one mom to another. I appreciate you and your advocacy and your transparency and your clarity. Thanks for stopping by DBL.
Thank you.